welcome to Asase Ba, a podcast that honors oral tradition and shines light on Ghanaian cultures and stories that are often untold or silenced. I'm your host, Michelle, and my pronouns are she and her. Woo! I'm low-key out of breath saying that. But anyway, we're back again with episode 2 of season 2. Thank you to everyone who has shared the podcast, like retweeted things or just like amplified it on social media, Instagram. I really appreciate it, And I also wanted to just shout out specifically the storytellers, the griots, the people telling history, the digital archivists, the digital curators. I really see you guys, I really see all of you. I've just come across so many different pages on Instagram and on Twitter of people just like documenting and preserving different moments in time in Ghana and just like different cultures of Ghana. And it's really, really dope to see people doing that work. And as someone who is also in that field and, try my best to just document our stories and, kind of keep that oral tradition going. It's so great to see like this community of people, a lot are Ghanaian women who are doing this work. And it's just like, yes, I love to see it. I love all the aesthetics. I love all the knowledge, the learnings and everything. That's so dope. So shout out to all of the digital archivists and digital curators making ish happen. So yeah, I definitely see you. I'm definitely excited to be back for episode 2. So again, this is like a podcast that runs every 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm glad to be back for episode 2 with more stories. So in case you don't know, this season 2 of Asase Ba focuses on the elders, their stories, their experiences, all of that jazz. So before we launch into this week's episode, there are 2 ways to support the podcast. So number 1 is, share the podcast. Sharing goes a long way. If you're enjoying an episode, if it resonates with you in any way, or you think someone will really enjoy it, share. Yeah, share on your Twitter page, share on Instagram, share wherever on social media. Or, you can tell the elders in your life about the episodes. You could say, hey, I came across this podcast. It's talking about elders, especially this season. Check it out. Just tell your network, your friends, your family, whoever. Just share so that, just to build this community and keep these stories going and heard and all of that. You can also follow Asase Ba on both Twitter and Instagram at asasebapod. So that's ASASEBA pod to keep updated. So, I post when new episodes are up. Also, another way to support is when you're listening or if something resonates with you, just, send a tweet, Instagram, and hashtag asasebapod. To let me know that you're listening and engaged and just to share with other people so that they can see, what really resonates with you and how you're enjoying the podcast. Another way that you can support is monetarily. I am a one-person team. It's a passion project, but, again, I'm a one-person team, hosting, producing, editing and all of that. So if you're able to support me on my passion project, you can do so via PayPal, and the PayPal link is in the show notes. All right, now let's get into this episode. This episode was conducted pre-pandemic. So just in case something comes up and I don't know, just thought I would give that context. So in this episode, I interview Aunty Janet. And I learned a lot throughout talking to her, just a lot about like, just her experiences and also like Ga culture and traditions and all of that. And it was just really cool to sit down with her and just really talk about some of the experiences she's had in life and just like her observations and all of that. And I think, a lot of people will enjoy this kind of intimate look into Auntie's experiences. So in this interview, I talked to Aunty Janet about growing up in Accra, Ga culture, customs and traditions, schooling in the eastern region of Ghana, her passion for art and theater, tips for making good jollof, differences between Canada and West Africa, and much, much more. So yeah, without further blabbing on, here is episode 2, season 2 of Asase Ba. Enjoy, and I will catch you after. All right, hello. Today I have with me Aunty Janet. Aunty Janet, welcome to Asase Ba. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone listening this very moment. My name is Janet Ayoko Okechuri.
Okay, so Auntie, when were you born and where were you born and raised?
I was born in the 50s, in the mid-50s, and I was raised in Accra, La to be precise, in Ghana.
Okay. What were you like as a child? Like, what 3 words would your parents or maybe your siblings use to describe you?
When I was born, my dad was traveling a lot due to the nature of his job.
Okay.
So I lived in the my mom's family house of La.
Okay.
It was quite a big family, the Andrews family or the Na Aura Betty family of La.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was so beautiful a family. Everybody's child is everybody's. There was no discrimination. You wouldn't know whose child this is or whose child that one is. Every child in that house belonged to every adult parent in that house. It was a very lovely house where parties, were happening every now and then.
That's nice. So like it was a big family. How many people in your family?
In the family were 8 siblings of my mom.
Okay.
Yeah. Together with my mom, they were 8, and my mom happened to be the last child.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom happened to be the last child. So my mom and our auntie she was born after were our sole caregivers, like caretakers who took care of us. So we knew, even though we had several aunties in the family taking care of us, my mom and this particular auntie were our moms. The 2 really did a job.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of like women energy and like, you had a lot of women that you looked up to in the household and all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like how many siblings did you have or do you have?
I had 6 siblings, but somewhere last year, we lost one.
Oh.
Actually, we are all females.
Wow.
And the one who passed away was our only brother.
Oh.
Yeah, he passed away last February.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
That's okay. He's with the Lord.
Yeah.
He's with the Lord.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of women energy.
Oh, you say that again.
Which is cool.
You say that
yeah,
again.
So like, what did you notice about like your home life in terms of having all these women around and like, your interactions and stuff like that?
I learned a lot from them.
Yeah.
I learned a lot
kind of things
them, how to be a good mother, and how to interact with other women, not feeling like I am more woman than this other person, like I am better than this woman, I am more beautiful than it was like, I learned that every woman has to watch the back of the other.
That's beautiful. Like, that's so good. Like, it's amazing that, you learn how to, by being around a lot of women, you learn how to, be supportive of women and just like all of that. That's really nice. Yeah.
Yes.
So your siblings and your mom and aunties, as a child, like what would they say you acted as? Like, how would they describe you as you were a child? When you were like 10, 5, what words would they use to describe you?
For some reason, in the family house where we grew up, all the aunties were making babies around the same season, around the same time.
Yes.
So this one's child might be 2 months older than the other sister's child.
Okay.
So there were kind of age group thing. There was an age group thing going on. Children born in the same year, 2 months apart, 3 weeks apart, 6 weeks. It was like that in our family. And it happened to be that my age group was, mainly made of boys.
Okay.
So those were the age group that I grew in mostly. And I became a tomboy myself.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I was doing everything that the boys were doing.
Yeah.
Climbing mango trees. Right. Going to my grandfather's property at La Abomi, to pluck cashew nuts, guavas, mangoes, going with them to La Bema Camp area, which was then like a bush or forest area, to gather snails. Snails. We call it alokoto. You remove you remove the meat from inside, clean it, shaping it into a cone kind of form, and then play with it. You twist the bottom, and then it will kind of spin and spin and spin, and then there is a technique that you use your hands to do, to kind of stop it from spinning. And it has to either,
the four
down, it has to either fall aside or turn upside down.
Okay.
When it turns upside down means you've won.
Oh, wow.
And your prize will be cashew nuts.
Wow.
Fresh cashew nuts.
Fresh cashew nuts.
Yeah, fresh cashew nuts.
How often did you win?
I was winning. Yeah. I was like the boys, so I copied, their skills, and I was like a boy. I was flying kites.
Wow. That's
chasing after birds and lizards. I did it all. Going to the ocean at La Palm. There was no La Palm by then. It was La Beach.
Okay.
Yeah. Going with them, my age group, to swim the ocean. Yeah.
Wow.
That kind of thing. I wasn't talking too much by then. Very quiet, but, aggressive in my own way, not stepping into anybody's space or toes, kind of. Yeah. Just to have my own pleasure. Yeah.
Oh, that's really
cool. I was
cool.
kind of aggressive in kind of achieving what I want to, but not to harm anybody.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's great.
I was very playful.
Yeah. And wow, sounds like you had so much fun as a child, so many
memories. Yeah. So many memories growing up in that family house.
Wow, that's cool. And so,
when you got to the age where, you know, you started going to school, how was your experience like in like primary school and all of that?
I started primary school at La Bonnie Primary School. La Bonnie.
Okay.
Yeah. In La. Yes. And I had some wonderful teachers that I miss till today. Yeah. Education in that school was awesome. Yeah. You are taught whatever you need to know. Discipline, music-wise, acting, academically, you must be there. And it was so challenging. My elder sister, whom I was born after, also attended the same school. Actually, 4 of my siblings attended the same school. And my sister, my elder sister, whom I was born after, was the first to enter that school. And she was doing marvelously well. It was like she's got a computer brain. And she was first all the time. First term, which you call semester here, she would take all the prizes. Second term, she would do likewise. I said to myself, I must be like her. And lo and behold, I got there. You know, whereas she was good in all subjects, I was very weak in math. Yeah, because for some reason we had one teacher who was too, should I say, I can't use the word mean, because he really wanted us good. You know, when you couldn't answer some math questions, he would hit you with a ruler on the head. So I hated the math class. And whenever we got into that class, I wasn't very happy. So my mind wouldn't be there. And that was my only downfall. Otherwise, I was an all-round student. I was involved in everything. Yeah, I was good in all the subjects too, till I got to secondary school.
What were your favorite subjects in primary school?
In primary school, I loved all the subjects. Yeah. Because I was very good. Yeah. I loved math. I loved Ghana. You know, I did Ghana studies. I love Ghana. And I love all the subjects. English. I was very good in English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were saying you love English, Ghana,
geography, history, civics, history.
Okay.
I've forgotten how many subjects we were doing. I've forgotten about 12.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
About 12 subjects. Art. Yeah, art. Yeah.
So you really enjoyed school then?
I enjoyed school. Yeah. What would make people not to enjoy school is when they are not getting what they are being taught. But you just teach and I grab it, you know. So I enjoyed and I wanted to know more. I was reading on my own. I was reading anything.
What kind of books? Like
I was reading story. My mom was a teacher.
Okay.
So she retired and had so many books that we could read.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so many books in it's whether in English, you know, Arabian tales, Greek mythology, several, you know, storybooks, Bibles, you know, stories, a whole lot of, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. And just, you know, within your family and like the things that you did together and, you know, living in Accra, what kind of cultural things, because you mentioned your gut, what kind of cultural things do you really remember engaging in as a child? Any traditions or customs, gut customs and traditions that you can speak about? I can speak about our outdoorings, about our Otofo. Otofo is when a girl reaches the puberty age. Yeah, there is a customary rite that is performed to introduce her into the society as one
having reached adulthood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you
So
remember
we have-
yours?
Actually, it depends on the clan you come from.
Okay.
I don't come from that clan, so I didn't have that. Moreover, Christians don't like to do such rituals and customary rites. So I escaped that because certain parts of your body has to be revealed. It's a beautiful culture. I won't lie about that. It's so beautiful, yeah. But my family, we don't have that kind of customs or traditions in our family.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, what customs or traditions were your family engaging in and stuff?
In my mom's side, actually, my mom's background is of Dutch descent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
my mom, they were partly Dutch and partly Ghan. And the Ghans take after their paternal, side. So I grew up in my mom's paternal family. And they have this missionary background, so they were not involved in the traditions and customs of the people.
Okay.
And I grew up in that family. All we knew was music, music.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad's family, as a matter of fact, I am from the royal family of La. A lot goes on in that family, a lot of rich culture, and other performances that Christian families see as, heathen, like earthly kind of things. But those are traditions of the people and customs of, the certain families of that town. So you can't really argue about that.
Right.
It's a rich culture, but some performances I would say, personally, it's to the extremes. You understand what I mean? So we don't delve that much into such activities. Yeah.
What kind of activities were they?
Like, there are some rituals that has to be performed for the stew, for the royal stew every year. It has to be brought out, and certain, rituals will go on, not with blood, like slaughtering of fowls or human beings, or, but there will be pouring of libation and, washing the faces of everybody in that family, with water received directly from the rain, and then the stew of that family would be placed in a bowl of the rainwater, and then seaweed is put in that bowl, and people will queue up to go put some coins into the water, and then the elderly woman of the family will wash your head and your face with some of that water. It was like purifying you and asking for blessings, from the God who guards the stew. That particular God is regarded as the God who watches over or protects that family.
Okay, I see.
And it's a stew that they brought from ancient Israel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually the people, Africans, the West Africans are regarded as Hebrews. So not too long ago, I went to the world's largest library, downtown Toronto, and I read about the Hebrews of West Africa, where we have migrated from before coming to settle at the west coast of Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they brought some of these traditions, along with them.
Right.
Yeah, those practices, a whole lot.
Yeah.
That can be another chapter.
Yeah, a whole
some
episode.
other time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
so
get it.
that really goes on in my family.
Yeah.
And when you are not raised in that family, some of the practices would look rather strange to you, and you would try to alienate yourself from that.
It doesn't sound strange to me. It's just, honoring, your people, your ancestors, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
But then believing that there is a God that, protects the family apart from the supreme God. Yeah.
Right.
So
during that time,
that's my problem. That's the problem I have.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm very proud that I was born into that family, because there are some special people, honorable people from that family. You won't believe it.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
And during that time, were there a lot of people that engaged in those kinds of customs, traditions, or were more people look towards it in a certain way, like they didn't like it?
The town?
The town. And your
7
friends
brothers
and all that.
7 brothers migrated from ancient Israel, traveled through several empires. There was a time they got to a place called Ile-Ife in Nigeria, But after they had stayed for some time, that people of that town they felt threatened because our people were multiplying. But their main intent was to come to the coast of Ghana, which is the Gold Coast. But they felt so comfortable and didn't want to continue with their journey. They forgot about where they said they were going until the people of Ile-Ife drove them away. And then they continued through Dahomey, which is now Cotonou or Benin, Republic of Benin, through Togo, Aflawo, the Akwapim area. They had wars all over before they got to Labadi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Before they got to Labadi.
So that's how the God people migrated.
Yes, that's how they migrated. They migrated in tribes. In families. Ayikushi and his people went to Gamashin side, and then we came to La.
Okay.
7 brothers led their families to La. When they came, after a while, they built their own homes. So there were 7 family heads. All these families have the same custom, customary rights and traditions, And in all these families, there are some who took to Christianity, and so they kind of feel that the customary rights and some of the traditions are too extreme, and then started withdrawing from it. Okay. So it's not like in my family alone or me alone who is trying to see it as something, not right in the sight of God.
Right.
And there are other families too who see it the same way. Yeah.
And just to go back to growing up in Accra, Ghana, and so once you finish primary school, I know you mentioned before when I was talking to you pre-interview that you're really involved with the high school that you went to, and you're planning some stuff for them.
Yes.
So what was your high school experience like?
Well, I went to study. So my whole heart was there because I have been put there to go and study. I came from the Greater Accra area of Ghana, but I schooled in the eastern region, the Akwapim area of Ghana, and I fell in love with that area because the atmosphere was very, very favorable for studying. The weather there was like spring or fall here in Canada. So I fell in love with that kind of weather, and then the environment was very, very favorable for studying. I love to study, so I was doing very well. You wouldn't believe a guy topping the tree class. It's true. I was topping the tree class, whereby my tree mistress of that time would say she deserved to be given 100 marks. But it wouldn't be fair to do that, so she would put 98 or 99.
Oh, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was very good in all the subjects. I don't know, for some reason I was very good in science, right? I was having problem with physics because the math solutions became too much for me, so I dropped that one. And I was later on told that they went to a staff meeting. The masters went to a staff meeting, and my course master complained that I was one of the best science students, and he was not too happy that I dropped that subject. I was equally very good in art, you know. I was very good. I think it runs in the family. Artists, you know, being a good artist, you know, it's something that comes from the family. And I also took after that, and I was very, very good. So I focused all my attention to that. Yeah, but aside from that, I was doing geography. I was good in geography too. I was good in government, history, math, you know. But I wanted to focus on art.
Okay, and
so I would say art became my best subject, but I was into acting as well.
Acting.
Yeah, I was acting. Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you some questions about art being, you know, something you loved and acting. But before that, like you mentioned that you moved from, you know, the Greater Accra region to the Eastern region, where it's like, you know, a different culture and language and stuff like that. So is that where you learned Tree when you moved to the Eastern region?
Yes.
Okay, and like
before.
Okay,
go ahead.
And like even transitioning from Accra to the Eastern region, did you notice any like cultural changes and maybe how people viewed you? What kind of things did you notice?
Actually, when I left Labone Primary, I attended Agri Road in Tema before going to the secondary school. And in Tema, it happened to be a harbour city, right? And people were coming from Takoradi to Tema, you know, because these are the two port cities, right? Port cities. And so the main languages there by then were Ga and Fanti. So, and my dad was being transferred from Takoradi to Tema. So we're running from Takoradi to Tema to Takoradi. Every now and then we'll be going on transfers like that. So we started speaking fluent Fanti until I went to the Eastern region. In the Eastern region, all I was hearing in my ears was English and the Akwapim Chi. Before I knew it, my Fanti has become adulterated with the Akwapim Chi. So that when I'm speaking, you can trace everything else in what I'm saying. Up to now, when I say I'm speaking Tree, you ask, are you an Akwapim? Sometimes some people say, are you a Fanti? You know, I won't realize that this is what I'm doing because that became part of me, you know. Yes.
Okay. And so, you know, when you were there, were there other like cultural things you noticed? You know, moving from Accra to the Eastern region, were you adjusting to a different culture and like environment? How was your experience like with that?
Not really. I was in the boarding house, you know. And there wasn't anything specific, except that, we have, sometimes we have programs where we would have to portray our culture. We will do our cultural dance, like the Ghans will do their Homowo dance, the Kwapings will dance to their Fontomfrom, and then the Fantis too will come and do their own, and the Northerners, we're doing that festive thing in the school, and nobody's traditions, customs come into the way of anybody. After that, we are here to study. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And you mentioned you love art. What kind of art were you doing?
I was doing steel work, figure drawings, painting. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Painting. Yeah.
And
I was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, sometimes at my leisure time, I try to sketch some things. I don't know, it's a talent. So that when I take a book, before I have sketched a clothing, a dress, very beautiful, my own design. But I didn't pursue that. I didn't. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't.
So I
would have become good, but I just left that interest.
So, what did you end up pursuing after high school? What was your journey?
I have catering skills. So I became a caterer at one point, where I was catering for people's parties and some schools, which I still do.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I still do some catering here and there.
Okay, yeah. That's cool. So what is a strong memory, or what is something that you really remember about your high school experience?
My high school?
Yeah.
My high school experience was a fantastic one. I was a brilliant student, and in the area of sports, I was good in basket. We were doing the netball by then. I was an outstanding player, as my remarks would state on my report sheet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Janet, an outstanding player. And in the area of acting, I was outstanding. So much so that we once went to the arts theater to perform, and a group of Americans who came to watch us wanted to give me a scholarship to come and do film and theater studies in America.
Did you pursue that?
Unfortunately, I didn't. I was, I was like 16 years old and didn't have much control, So, and I was in the boarding house in the hands of my masters, the principal and the masters. They controlled every aspect of my life, whilst I was in the boarding school. So the decisions would have to come from them. But then it didn't happen, because Africa by then, and I think it still is, it happened that some of the masters have relatives in the group. So they were not too happy that among the whole lot, I am the only one being, given the scholarship to go and study abroad. They were not happy. So when it came to voting to agree that we are releasing our students to go perform or to go and continue her education abroad, they didn't want to yield to that.
Wow.
But the mistake that the headmaster did by then was, my family would have had the last say. They should have called my parents to say, this is what is coming up for your child. What do you have to say about that? And then they can say, oh, maybe she's too young to travel abroad to study, or we would prefer she finish school here before going. It's up to my parents to decide what to do, but it didn't happen.
And you're saying you think the reason is because they had other children or like family that they would rather them get the scholarship. Is that why?
Yes, somebody from the meeting came to tell me. Yeah, it's not the whole world who hates you. Some will hate you, some will love you. Some didn't like what was happening. So one of them sneaked out to tell me this is what happened at the master's meeting today.
Yeah, that must have really hurt when you heard that.
I was surprised because it was like I was so good and everybody on staff loved me. The whole school, my name was on the lips of everybody. Janet Oketri here and there, Yeah. And so it was quite strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was strange, but I didn't get hurt. I was surprised. That is when my eyes started opening to know that what you see around you is not all that. And not all the teeth that laugh with you really love you. That is when, I won't lie to you, that is when I started, getting the awareness of what life is really all about.
Did you face any other type of discrimination like that while you were in high school?
No, I didn't. I was doing everything right, and everything I was doing was to the good name of the school. So everybody was pleased with me. I don't know, but I was really good. Whatever I love, I put all my heart in it. Whatever I'm passionate about, I go all out to do it, to get a good result, So people around me would attest to that, So nobody discriminated against me.
That's good.
Nobody, yeah.
And in terms of like during the time that you were going to high school, was it the 60s?
No.
70s?
I was born in the 50s. My primary education was in the 60s. My high school education was in the 70s. Yeah, 70s.
Yeah. What was like happening at the time in Ghana, like the political climate, and like, do you remember anything happening from that time?
I am a product of the Kwame Nkrumah, our first president. I am a product of that era. Ghana was like, Great Britain. Everything was going on very well. Life was very comfortable. We had this free education thing going on.
Wow.
Oh yeah, everything is supplied freely in the schools. All you have to bother about is how to feed your children. And things were not expensive. Yeah, it was fun. Christmas was fun. We'll have imported biscuits and juices and wines and this and that. Ghana was really good during that time. We were all very happy. Very, very happy.
Yeah.
A very good atmosphere for learning too, and because you don't lack anything. You go and they place before you your new book smelling good with, fresh paper, ink there, So we love it when they put new exercise books before us.
Oh, that's amazing. Because right now, like...
We were happy. Every child who grew up during that time was happy. You will not be happy when you can't learn. There are some children who were born with such intelligence that as soon as the teacher teaches something, they absorb it. You know, there are some, they will learn and learn and learn. It will never stick in. You know, so those are the people who would say, I'm not happy. Why do I have to come into the classroom? What am I sitting here for? And you could tell, in the classroom, you could tell that some doesn't know or didn't know why they were there. We were like observing when some of us will be answering questions. In Ghana, in the classrooms, when the teacher asks questions, you say, teacher, me, call me. You know, it was quite challenging. You know, everybody wants to show to the teacher that I know this.
Right.
It was beautiful. You know, and then those ones will be sitting down, whether they are sleeping or you don't really know.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes maybe things are going on
in their house,
or in their family that impacts your ability to retain information, or maybe you're not even learning in the way that would be best for them to learn. Because there are different ways that people absorb information, right? So some people, it's like they're not getting what they need. So
don't really know.
Yeah, we don't know.
I saw a whole lot of that.
Yeah,
you know.
And so like after you finished high school, what was like the plan for you?
I didn't want to do anything. My friend, whom I shared a dormitory with, you know. When I went to Form 1, I was put in the prefect's dormitory. And in the prefect's dormitory, we had a prefect, you know, we were sleeping on bunker beds. So one girl who became my best friend and like a sister was sleeping on our prefect's, on the top part of the bunker bed, whereas the house prefect slept underneath. And then there was another girl who slept on the bottom part of the other bunker, and I slept on top. So whereas the other rooms in the dormitory were loaded with people, ours contained only 4 people, you know. And that girl became my best friend, the girl who was sleeping on top of the prefect, you know. And we both decided that after school we don't want to do anything. We want to become air hostesses.
Want to become
flight stewardesses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Flight. Yeah. Because when you are young, you have all the qualities to become that. You know, your slim build, you know, I mean, everything about you, your looks, and then your composure, everything about you would tell you, I can be like those people in the air. I want to be like them. Yeah. So we decided to do that. But unfortunately, that girl became very ill. She fell seriously ill. Yeah. And she died.
Aww.
She died. Yeah. And I said to myself, I'm going to leave that dream for you. Wherever you are, you will see I pursued it. But in Ghana at that time, it's whom you know. You really have to know somebody. You have all the qualifications to get that job. But then you have to know somebody who can hold your hand to the authorities and say, hey, this is my man, take him. Kind of what's going on. Yeah. And I didn't get through. I went to the interview, all right, and they said they are going to call us for the second interview, and I didn't get it. Yeah, so, I didn't get it. Nobody called me back, so I lost it. Yeah. And when you lost it, the following year, your age is increasing, and we have an age limit, you know.
At that time, were you still in the eastern region, or were you back?
No, I had come to Accra, Tema.
Okay,
Tema. I had come to Tema, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And, you know, once that didn't work out, what were your plans after?
I decided to travel.
Travel?
Yeah, I decided to travel.
So, what was your first?
My first, I went to Nigeria and I became a teacher.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I became a teacher.
Okay. Like, how was it like, moving to Nigeria?
Nigeria was very good by then. It was very, very good. The living there was very comfortable. But after some time, they shifted into a political era. And people were dying here and there, to the extent that when you are driving out, you must have a branch, put on your windshield, taped up, to show that you belong to this particular party. Otherwise, they will drag you out and kill you. Some senseless beatings here and there, And around that same time, my sister, my sister who had been here earlier on, asked that we join her here. And my dad was the sole applicant. And I became a codependent child. So I came here with my dad.
So while you were in Nigeria, what kind of, it's a whole new country, different cultures there. How did you kind of adapt to, the new environment?
I wasn't involved in their cultural activities, but I was loved by people. People love me. Who wouldn't love Janet? I'm lovable. Am I not?
Of course.
I adapt quickly to my environment, and they love it, especially the Yorubas. They love it when you come, to their territory to feel at home and feel you are part of them. So when they are having their marriages, and they will tell you, we are having a naming ceremony today, we are doing this. Oh, involve yourself. And with my catering background, I could help them in cooking. They were looking at me when I start cooking our jollof. Nigerians, you are hearing me. Ghanaian jollof is always the best. Yeah. And
I see you're sparking the jollof wars again.
I would cook the jollof. And how did you do it? How do you make this? This is different. Because you begin stewing making the stew and then frying the rice, and in the stew mix the rice absorb the stew, so it gets that tender, delicious taste. And that's our secret. They have their own way of cooking jollof, which is not really what we do in Ghana.
Shady, Auntie.
We don't do that in Ghana. I don't want to teach them on the phone. They can contact me.
You moved to Canada with your brother, you mentioned.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, like, what era was it? Like, what year?
96.
96.
Yes.
And like when you moved to Canada, when you first stepped out of the plane, and what did you see? Like, how did you feel about moving?
Oh, when I moved out from the baggage area into the main, onto the pavements by the roadside, there I saw my sister, my uncle, my aunties, my sister's daughters, and then my sister, everybody was there happy. And so I was so happy to see these faces after a long flight. And there I was greeted with a cold, because I got here in November when it had snowed.
Oh boy.
So it was raining. But it was very, very cold.
Yeah. Did you even have a jacket on?
Yes, my sister made us with. I had only sweater.
Yeah.
And I had only sweater, yeah.
Oh yeah, sweater will not cut it.
No.
Canadian winter.
No, but she brought us coats.
Okay,
She had she really prepared well for our coming. She had bought coats for everybody.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so immediately we stepped out of the door. She threw the coats on everybody.
Yeah.
And then we went to where the car was parked. And I was looking, but I didn't really see much because it was very gray.
Okay.
It was winter.
Yeah, that's true. You moved to the Toronto area, or?
Yeah, I went to the Toronto area. Actually, I moved to Etobicoke.
Okay.
Etobicoke, yeah.
So, like...
very close to Humber College.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, like, once you were in Canada, like, you said you had your catering that you did. Was that what you were doing, or like?
Actually, I didn't do that. I started working for agencies, one agency after the other. If I start mentioning you, I had to go to to work in the area I know best, where I can really handle food. So I worked with Campbell's Soup. From Campbell's Soup, but before Campbell's Soup, I had worked with some petty agencies that have sent me here and there, And so when I got to Campbell's Soup, I was very happy. I was handling food. I love to handle food. Yeah. And then I heard, they are hiring at the airport, flight catering services at the airport, Cara. So I went to work with them.
Nice. So at that point, did you stay in Canada? Is that, you stayed in Canada forever kind of thing, or?
Yeah,
you didn't go back?
I came to stay.
Yeah, you came to stay. Okay.
So I stayed in Canada.
Yeah.
Not going back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just from living to Ghana, then Nigeria, then Canada, what are some things that you noticed about living in Canada versus West Africa and stuff like that?
As a matter of fact, you know how in Ghana we have a good season all year round? Nigeria has the same climate and, you name what. But in Canada, it's winter, spring, and fall. And you could tell that winter takes most of the months, so that, summer is here. Before you know it, the cold weather is coming in already.
Right.
So you don't have much of fun times, whereas in Ghana, it's sunny and bright, although it can be very hot, but we get a lot of vitamin D from the sunshine weather, and when it comes to, having activities, the weather wouldn't restrict you except for the rainy season, but you know when to plan your outdoor activities, knowing it's going to rain, So it's really fun times in Ghana. Fun. Like they have in the Caribbeans. What I like comparing Nigeria and Ghana to here is the fact that we have a lot of benefits here. In Ghana, our politicians are so corrupt that whatever they promise, they will go in there and then they will start looking the other side so that we don't get satisfaction from why we have put them there. Here it's not like that. Everything is structured in a way that even when you don't have a job, the government can take you up till you are able to secure a job. Whether it's clothing, you can go to Salvation Army to pick up something to manage with before you can get back on your feet. Medical system here, very, very good. Although when you are not working, and you are not on any form of disability, you won't have, those benefits, but nobody is left out here. Even when you come as a new immigrant, you are directed where to go and do some basic studies, in the area of computer or whether carpentry or any handiwork that you would like to start life with. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So like in terms of the culture, obviously it's very different, Africans, Ghanaians, Nigerians. Mm-hmm. How did you feel, with like the culture shift?
It's like everybody's minding his business. Nobody really tries to stop anybody from coming up with your cultural rights. You can continue with that, but I don't really see culture here.
What do you mean by that?
Like in, Canada, except for immigrants who have come, they stick with their culture, but here it's a political state here, where you have to follow what is expected of you as a citizen. You can have your culture displays in your communities, free of, display or however you want it. I hope I'm not deviating from the question.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You are allowed to look at Caribana thing going on. We have our Homowo. Nobody comes to say, you can't have your cultural displays here. This is Canada. Except for, religious displays, or religious acts outside openly, you are not restricted in any way to have your Christian religion. People take offense in you going out there to evangelize. The government hasn't said so, but you begin to step on the toes of others, people who are not into Christianity. They get irritated when you want to lift your religion higher, but that is the only thing. But culture-wise, you are not restricted in any way.
And just like connecting with the Ga community here in Toronto, like first of all, have you, and like what kind of either cultural associations or groups do you participate in?
I would say the Homowo Festival. Yeah, I am not in the Ga Association, but I have lots of friends and extended family who are in it. So when they are doing the Homowo, you don't have to be in the association before you go to their parties and celebrations. Yeah. So when my sister, my first cousin is here, and she and the husband are in the group. They are strong members of the group. So when the Homowo Festival is approaching, my cousin notifies me whether I would like to come. Sometimes I do go, sometimes I don't. And it's a beautiful display of the culture. Yeah, it's a beautiful display of the culture. But again, they are doing it very well. They try to, do it the way it's done back home. And certain areas of it, some of us as Christians frown on. We frown on that. Mm-hmm. There is a performance, which to us, but they can't change it because It has been there from time immemorial. Who are you to stop it? You can't stop it.
So like you have, your friends and like, we have the festival, which, is so embedded in the culture, right? So just in general, like in terms of connecting with the Ghanaian community at large, where do you go? Like, how do you connect with other Ghanaians at large? I know specifically we have the Ga community and then the Ghanaians at large. How do you connect with them as well?
Oh, I have lots of Ashanti friends, lots. I have friends in all the tribes. And, I have not been to, I have been once to the Equiapim Debar of Chiefs, and it was such a beautiful display of elegancy. It was so beautiful. I have not been to that of the Ashantis. I have been to funerals where I have seen a display of royalty among the Ashantis. I have been to when any tribe at all, if I have friends within all the tribes, if anyone is having any kind of a ceremony, whether naming ceremony, funerals, marriages, and they invite me, I do go. I respect every tribe. I get along with every tribe very, very well.
What's something that brings you joy right now in your day-to-day life?
In my day-to-day life. Like activities or...
Yeah, I know you said
I love church.
Mm-hmm.
I am church, and church is me. That comes first. Number 2, whatever I can do to make people happy. I love to come to the needs of people. I love to bring people together. And there's an area where I'm already doing that. I have started that already about 3 years ago. And I think I have to applaud myself, for being able to do such a marvelous, work there. Yeah. And I love keeping my family together, making my family happy.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And also, what words of wisdom would you give, younger Ga people, younger Ghanaian people? Because you have such an experience, a lot of life experience, and a lot of youth, or some people are searching for some answers to certain things. Just in general, what words of wisdom would you give to the younger people?
What I would like to tell them is to feel proud of whoever they are. Well, you ask some Ghanaian kids, where are you from? I'm from Canada, or I'm Canadian. My parents are Ghanaians. Well, that's, what they have been taught to know. That's okay, but don't forget your roots and seek to know your culture. We have very rich culture, very beautiful culture. We have history, beautiful history. Maybe that will be another chapter, Yeah. I know my history. I seek to know the question, I seek to know about my tribe, how we got to settle in Ghana. I seek to know why my name is, so. I'm a Ghan, but my last name tells I am an Ashanti or a tree, you know. But there is a history attached to that. There is a history behind that, you know. Because I wanted to know. So I asked. And they told me, you know, why we have that last name, you know. And I advise other young people to also know. Ask your parents, you know,
they have
your
so
country
much
of
knowledge.
origin. We have some beautiful, you know, backgrounds. We have beautiful history, you know. You have to know.
Definitely.
Seek to know. You ask them. Your dad knows. He will tell you. Your grandma knows. If grandma is not here with you in Canada, whenever you get a chance to talk to him on her on the phone, you ask her, Grandma, so where have we come from? Seek to know any question that you can think of. What made up your family? And how come you have this name? Because we all have our traditional names.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. That's why I started this podcast, so that I can talk to different people from the Ghanaian community and we can talk about like our different stories, experiences, our culture, our histories and stuff like that. Our cultures, because there's so many different cultures in the Ghanaian community. Yes. So I'm so glad that, you know, you feel that way, and that's, you know, that was your response. So like, oh yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, so thank you, Auntie, for answering all those questions. And like, you know, I also learned a lot, you know, about the Ghana culture and stuff like that through talking to you. And if anyone wants to, you know, connect with you, you know, how can they connect with you once they hear this interview?
My email address is jayok8@gmail.com.
Okay, Auntie. Thank you so much. And I'm going to put that information in the description below. So yeah, thank you, Auntie, for this interview.
You're welcome.
All right, so thank you so much for listening to episode 2, season 2. Hope you enjoyed this conversation. I definitely did, and I learned again like a lot about Auntie's experiences. It was really cool just listening to her journey, just like growing up in Accra and then like going to school in the Eastern region, and then just her experiences abroad in Canada. So it was really cool like following her journey. And I hope you also enjoyed this conversation. Again, if you know any of this resonates or you have any like comments, hashtag asasebapod on Twitter, on Instagram, on wherever you know you're on social media. And follow Asase Ba Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and email as well if you have any like feedback or anything like that. Email is asasebapod@gmail.com. And this podcast is published every 2 weeks, so I will see you in 2 weeks. Take care, everyone. Bye.